This video will demonstrate the functionality that FSA Mobile provides a technician going through the repair process of a piece of equipment. Okay, to start, you can see on my FSA homepage for FSA Mobile, I've got my navigation pane where I'm able to navigate to various places within the application, and I can see some key KPIs of my performance and the next job that I have scheduled to me. So at this point, I'm going to open up the service order. As a technician, I may have the process requirement of either accepting or declining the job, acknowledging that I'm in transit once I arrive, or if there's any delays. And then this here is what I would select to acknowledge that I have started to work on the piece of equipment. Now, what you can see here as just an overview, I do have some information related to the customer, things like the door code related to that location, what's the reason for service, which we're experiencing an error. So at this point, I'm going to start working on the job. I'm going to assume that I'm already on site. I can see the piece of equipment that has been identified as requiring the service. And at this point now, I've started accumulating time towards the repair. As a technician, before I jump into the repair, I'd like to understand a little bit more of the lay of the land or say the history on the piece of equipment. So here I can see the other equipment that's on site, and if I want to get into knowing some of the details of this piece of equipment, I can select it here. I can see the bill of material related to this piece of equipment, any sort of documentations or TSB bulletins that may be present for it. You can touch on the service agreement and also get an idea of terms and conditions related to this agreement, history that's related to this equipment, and any sort of attributes, again, unique to this piece of equipment. So at this point, I've analyzed the history that's related to the equipment that is having the error, and I'm going to move on to starting to diagnose the problem by going through my diagnostic checklist. And so using this survey functionality, I'm able to go through some predetermined questions just to help make sure as an organization we are having that level of quality of service that's uniform regardless of what technician performs the job. And then if there's the requirement for me to say upload a picture, I could do that here by just selecting the picture if I've already captured it. Depending on the device, or if it's an iOS device, it would just populate here. Now that I have that saved, if there were any sort of meters that were required, so like gauge readings, that sort of thing, so I can collect that here, so operational hours, temperature, that sort of thing. Also, I have to fill out the codes. We have the option of having problem codes, and what this helps alleviate is that long novel that technicians will put in notes. We still have a variety of places that we can put notes here, but this will really limit the amount of time that we have the technician filling out the service order versus actually working on the problem. So here I'm going to say that it was a PLC error and it was related to a signal issue, which I was able to correct that signal feed connection. So as you can see, here's my problem, cause, and resolution codes, the summary. I could add more details if needed here, just stating that it's unplugged. Easily save that, and then at this point, I've identified the problem. Now, if there was the need that I needed to order extra parts, I could do that here by filling this out and then actually doing an item request and seeing what items are installed on site, what the bill of materials are related for those items. But I'm going to operate under the assumption that I have all the materials that I needed for the repair. So at this point, I've completed the job. I'm just adding my perform lines, which are my billable items or my consumables. There's some shop supplies that we typically use in this case, so I'm just going to apply it easily here. Just by going here, I don't need to look through a search or anything like that. Next, I'm going to consume a part, and so I'll consume an item, scroll down here, find the component that I'm going to consume, save it here, And what you'll see here is that the discount is automatically applied because of the service agreement that we have attached to this customer has a discount for items, and so that's automatically applied. Myself as a technician, I don't need to remember to do that. It's already done for me. So I've updated everything that I needed to from a line level. At this point here, I'm just going to finish it. So I'm reviewing this with the customer. I can see, okay, this is the information, what we've done for the job, what your subtotal is going to be, if there are any quoted lines, and then get a signature from the customer approving the work. And at this point here, I'm just going to wrap it up saying that I'm finished, I'm not returning, the job's done. And at this point here, it's wrapped up. My next job is already queued up for me. And so that concludes this video of how a technician would use the functionality available to him or her during the repair process of a piece of equipment.